This video is about the word form, okay, its variations that prove my point to a T, and Mars, okay, Venus, and why all other martial arts systems are rape called systems. Rape by illusion especially, but when one considers modern warfare, certainly one must ask themselves the question, how did you go from honorable martial arts societies that didn't believe in rape to basically rape systems? The martial artists of old saw the female body as sacred, as a sacred vessel, right? Hathor, the idea of a house of Horus. Now again, these words are English, Greek, Latin type of words, right? These aren't African words. These words refer to African ideas that have been twisted by the West, if you will, in the Middle East for the purpose of using quote-unquote magic, right? Alchemy, psychiatry, okay? Pharmaceutical substances, materials, fumes, okay? Gas, right? Sage, backwards, e-gas, and so on and so forth. So let us look at this and let me make my case. And certainly when I'm done, I can't imagine anyone not seeing it my way. Okay. So form, we get from the word form, we get for, mind, body, soul, and spirit. And what is it for? For with the M. M means magic, right? It can also mean masonry, right? Building a society. What magic is for, really, is to build a society outside of the divine order. A rape called society. How could you trick people about everything, and then people reproduce based on your lies, and you're not setting the stage for them to be taken advantage of and raped and do things that they otherwise wouldn't do? It's basically like they're getting the whole society drunk, and then the people who are a little bit more in on what's going on, a little bit more up on game, they rape everyone else and take advantage of them and rob them and con them. It's a con and rape by illusion based system, and among other things. So we get the word from, right? Where is it from? Is it from the Temple of Mars, perhaps? Is it from Babylon? Is it from China, Chinese Kung Fu, Mediterranean boxing? Is it from India, with the martial arts they did? Where is it from? Is it fair, right? Remove the M and replace the O with an A and apply phonetics. Is it fair? How far away is it from? Is it far? Are you far from the purpose of martial arts in the first place? We scramble, we get the word morph, right? Transform, morph, right? Form, right? Formula, formidable, okay? Chloroform, form of using fumes to knock somebody out. Okay, so we also get the word free, M, right? Is it really free? When you use magic, right? Are you teaching it for free? So what is it for? Is it free? Is it truly free? Or is it like free love, which is really costing you your soul? F-Ra-M, or F-Ram, or Ram-F, right? So you fuck the people of Ra's cult center, which was the idea of Helios by the Greeks was superimposed on it, right? Heliopolis, on, Ionu, right? None of these are truly African words. These are, Latin-based words and Greek and etc. So also we get, from Ram, we get obviously ramification. What are the ramifications, right? Ram-if-I-ka-shun. So certainly these are presentation, right? Present, right? Praise on, to shun, right? Who are you praying on with? Demonstration, demon, stray, anyone who strays away from demon, which comes from the root word demos, meaning people, and D-E-I-M-O-S, meaning terror, the deity of terror. Okay. So who's it for, right? Goes back to followers, right? Fall, to fall out of grace. Oh, the sun disk, the reproductive disk, right? The flesh that they're tripping up over in the beautiful women. Follower, for rape as modern war. Okay, that's what these other martial arts systems are for. Psychological warfare, mental warfare, okay, quote-unquote spiritual warfare, social, cultural warfare. It's for rape, illusion-based rape, etc. as modern war. That's also where we get the word grapple, right? Grape L, Pan, Bacchus, Dionysus, and other despicable rape cult deities. And that you get rear naked chokehold, and so on and so forth. So we go to from Necken, okay? From Neckin, then we'll have the leopard striking and the true African ideas that they were referring to, and not the chemistry and the alchemy that came from these trader Africans and the Middle Eastern people and the Sumerians and the Greco-Romans and so on and so forth, right? All these alchemical ninnies, right? So how do we know this? Well, certainly we know that Mars is symbolized by the wolf, okay? You know, and the woodpecker, we have the word wood and pecker in the same fucking word, okay? And he's pecking at the tree trying to get to something inside of it, right? In this case, they're fixated on the flesh, okay? They're raping people. All right. So another name for Mars is Ares, right? The Greek name for Mars, Ares. And Ares, E-R-I-S, was a deity of terror, you know, and discord that accompanies Ares, or Mars, into battle. And who else accompanies him? Nerio, meaning valor. Vis, meaning vital force. Potentia, okay, meaning power. And maestas, meaning majesty. So he's accompanied by terror, valor, vital force, power, and majesty. And he's fixated on Venus, who is, you know, a symbol of prosperity and victory. Why victory? Because when you get women on board pushing your rape cult line, you've really got them. When they're those demons that are going out to take souls, if you will, and bring them into your culture, you've really got them, right? And you prosper, you reproduce, right? Reproduction, you're productive, and you prosper, okay? And you provide, you're productive, right? Provider, provader, pray-vader, and so on and so forth. So Venus is also a symbol of beauty, desire, fertility, sex, enticement, seduction, and persuasive female charm, which is where we get all this promiscuous dress, right? Provocative dress, you know, mental warfare, and so on and so forth. Incidentally, it is key to understand that the first known temple to Venus, from the site I got this information from, was in 295 BC, and it was funded by fines imposed on Roman women for sexual misdemeanors. What does this mean? It means that while they're going out and colonizing and raping people in the Roman tradition, they're like, you can't tell us shit. We're using this deity that came around 295 BC, you know, well, you know, this temple, at least to this deity, right, based on Astarte. And we'll get into that momentarily. Okay, we're using this Venus deity, Aphrodite, in the Greek mythology, to empower us to go rape more people. And part of it is our kind of subconscious, if you will, moral outrage, if you want to call it that, from women doing sexual misdemeanors. If you're out in war and she's fucking other guys, you're like, fuck that bitch, and fuck those bitches too. You know, if you don't have a strong connection to God and you're mad at women, okay, and your wife's cheating on you. I mean, they built a fucking temple based on these cheating sluts. Think about how much that pissed them off. Kind of sheds new light on the rape of the Sabines, right? It could very well be that Rome was founded by a bunch of rapists, and as a result, they bred with stupid sluts who bred rapist children, which ultimately created a bunch of sexually immoral harlots, okay? So now you have this rape culture where people are related to each other. They identify as Romans and the different ethnic groups there, and they see themselves as fighting, you know, being petty and trying to fight over, you know, who fucking who gets the money, whose ideas are paid homage, right? Who's worshiping and worshaping, right? Which deities, okay? And war includes psychological warfare, perhaps first and foremost when we're talking about Greco-Roman deities and Sumerian deities. Psychological warfare, right? Psyche, meaning mind, and the female soul in their respective system. And this goes back to Mars having said to have raped Rhea, who is Ops. Remember Psyche and Ops, Psychops. Okay, Ops is you know, another equivalent of Rhea. Okay, who is Saturn's, okay, consort. So it goes Saturn and Rhea, and then Saturn, Zeus, right? And then Zeus, after Zeus, then we get Mars and all this stuff. Okay, if I'm not mistaken, he's a child of Zeus or something like that. Well, you know, that part of it, you know, I don't remember off the top of my head. It's not my notes, but moving on. So one way or another, he rapes Rhea. He's symbolized by a wolf. So he's a rapist symbolized by a wolf and a woodpecker. So he's saying, beware of wolves in sheep's clothes. The wolf is the symbol of the Roman people. Romulus and Remus are said to be reared by wolves. And Mars rapes Rhea, and he's symbolized by wolf. And wolf backwards is flow. It's rape cult flow based on Western demonstration, presentation, and technology, armor-based warfare. Okay, and not natural martial arts in the natural fighting spirit. Right? Angels and angles work in the angles of the spear. And sometimes you see angels without any armor, and sometimes you see them with. When you see them with, be sure you know for sure they're a rape cult. When you see them depicted in this kind of Apollo image or any kind of Greco-Roman deity image, you're dealing with that rape cult who made that a statue. And if some church embraces that statue, they're embracing the idea of that rape cult, almost certainly wittingly so. Okay. So, again, I encourage you to watch this again. I'm going to have to, I'm running out of time, so let's shoot through this. Okay. So the Mars comes from the Greco-Roman mythology and mystery. It's really Western occult system that directly links to New Age and Masonry. I don't think there's anyone who would deny that there's a link between the New Age and Masonry. Moving on. And I've actually seen it on Britannica. If I remember, I'll put that at the end here. Buddhism merges with this system, okay, with this Western occult system through mental health, Buddhist psychology, and otherwise, okay. So, Buddhism was basically made by image-based occultists, and then the Western occultists finished kind of forcing their kind of Sumerian foundation. Think in terms of trade routes and blacksmiths and weapons, where martial arts comes from a source, and then there was magic card ninnies who corrupted it, and the West in the New Age movement finished corrupting all other martial arts outside of the divine order. Okay, so going back to Venus, right? Mars is also symbolized by the bear, right? California bear. You have Kali, you have the Indian deity, right? Hindu deity, okay? And she's also associated with warfare. And you have the bear, which is a symbol of Mars, okay? And of course, Bruce Lee was in California, okay, in San Francisco, right? All right, moving on. And he had a studio or something. He had two schools, one in Oakland, one in Los Angeles, and his students pretty much set up shop in Chinatown, San Francisco, and so on and so forth. Anyway, so moving on, we have the myrtle and the rose are symbols of Venus. The rose is symbol of secret passion, right? Hidden sex cult bitch shit. Your wife, even if you're a middle class person, your wife's fucking somebody in some sex cult bitch shit. That rose, right? Valentine's Day, Lupercalia, it is sex cult, secret society, secret fucking romance, right? Secretary, secret eros, secret bitch shit. And fuck that fucking shit. The myrtle is a symbol of purification, which goes back to the purification rites of cloacina, okay, which has everything to do with C-lo, A, sin, A, or C-lo, A, con, A, or C-lo, A, kin, A, sin, con, kin, okay. And this was an Etruscan Roman goddess of Rome's main sewer. And this is where you get the laws, right, from the sewer system. As Jordan Maxwell has pointed out, I do think that his logic is sound when you consider what deities dominate Western society today. So Rome's sewer system, it goes back to the floating river of boiling excrement as they've raised hell, quote unquote, spiritually and symbolically, using Luciferian energy and dominating everybody. So the Roman generals are given an ovation, a lesser form of Roman triumph, having a myrtle crown. They'd wear this myrtle crown to show that a lesser form of triumph, and that is pretty much triumphing over females, okay? Raping them, taking captives, you name it. So to purify their armies of blood guilt, okay, was one explanation. All right, so we have Venus of Heliopolis, okay? And this is where you get the human trafficking, right? Raw fucking, right? Captive, right? Captuvi, the cap of Upper Egypt, right? Horus, the son of Ra, for instance, the cap and the crowns of Egypt, right? Upper and Lower Egypt. So we go back to, it goes back to Jupiter being associated with Baal. And I'll end this here. Okay, so there's this rape culture. They blur the lines with the female sexual immorality, okay, which feeds into the expansion of rape on a massive scale, which leads up to the millions of women who are raped in World War II and so on and so forth. And this goes back to this kind of Heliopolis, these deities. They're associated there, including Jupiter, who's associated with Baal, who's symbolized by the bull, and he's the sky god, so he's literally the bull that covers the light symbolically and otherwise. And this goes back to Baal and church Baals, which goes back to Circe, and also goes back to Serapis, which is also, Zeus and Jesus are also connected, not just